Psalms. We're in Psalm chapter 3 right now. The first psalm we looked at was a personal psalm. Unknown author. Psalm chapter 2 was more of an open psalm to a nation and was used to read to over a king who was courting his coronation. And now Psalm 3, we're looking at Psalm 3. It's a psalm that we know was written by David. He was actually being chased by somebody who really should have known better and shouldn't be chasing him. The person chasing David was his son, Absalom. Absalom was going to take the kingdom and kill his dad. Wow, you think you got family troubles? Yeah. So, peace in the storm. How can we actually face a storm and still have peace in our lives? That's what we're going to talk about this morning, how we can do that. So maybe you're facing a storm at work, and the person is looking over your shoulder, going at you and saying, "Hey, you're doing that wrong," or "This is the way you should do it." Maybe you start a new job, and that's the case. And now you get to say, "Hey, I'm past that. I don't need you to stand over me. I don't need you to tell me how to do it. In fact, I might have a better way of doing it. You want to ask me? I can tell you." That sort of stuff is going on. Maybe people are getting it up at work, and maybe you're just getting a brick wall, and you feel like you want to move forwards, but work is not allowing you to do that. Someone who's up from you at work, the next person up, is blocking you. If you get past them and go around them to somebody else, then maybe that might be a thing you like to do, but you can't because you've got to go on the chain of authority. And so maybe you feel like that's a bit of a storm that's brewing, and you go, I don't know what they're doing. They're putting out these rules and guidelines, and now I have to do all this, and it's all this extra work. Maybe you got some fighting happening in your family, and maybe that some people aren't agreeing with other people and not going to talk to each other anymore, and maybe at home mum and dad are arguing, or maybe you're arguing with mum and dad and you're arguing with each other, or someone's just as stubborn, it's just not doing anything, won't do what they need to do. Maybe there's fighting amongst siblings, sister and sister, brother and brother are fighting each other, and there's this battle going on for attention for somebody like their mum or dad, or even just the way of going about doing things. Maybe the grandchild, your grandparents are being difficult or not seeing things the way that they need to. Maybe they need to actually look at having extra care. And they're facing that. Or maybe you're looking at having extra care and you're running against that. Everyone seems to be pushing you to do something, and you go, "Hey, how about me having to say," maybe there's a bit of a war going on in that way. Maybe at home, if you have children in technology, maybe might be a better argument there over the phone. Now, if you're into technology, you'll know that phone is really old, and technology, it looks like two matchsticks. That phone. But maybe there is an argument over technology, and maybe you're sick of saying, "Hey, this is the line, this is the boundary. We need to stop here and not do this, or turn it off at this time." And maybe you feel like there's a battle going on, there's this rising up, or maybe your children no longer have your values, and they've grown up and left home, and they're rejecting what you said, or argue against what you believe. But maybe that's a battle. As children grow, they quite often seem to be in a tug of war with their parents over things. Not always that way, but on a few things that happen in families that can be that way. Or maybe you yourself remember your parents arguing in the past, or there's been some hurt in the past for you this morning. You might be thinking about that as well, that storm that happened in life, and it keeps coming back, and you replay in your mind, whether it's from a long time ago or just yesterday. There might be some storm that's going on in your mind and you're remembering, and you're going, "Yes, I face that. Occasionally it comes back again and it bites me." And it's like someone's throwing dirt at you as you try and get on with your life. We're going to look at that. In fact, this psalm, David wrote this psalm just as probably someone was throwing literally dirt at him. Throwing dirt at him. We're going to find that out. So no matter whatever you're facing, whatever memories you're facing, or whatever dark past you're facing, or you're looking to the future and thinking, this is going to be something that I'm going to be facing soon. Tomorrow or the next day, maybe it's even the thought of something like surgery, or the unknown about yourself. You're fighting this and you're going, where am I? Maybe mentally you've got some things happening in your mind, you're thinking it through, how am I going to face this? The world does it this way, but I do it that way. The world doesn't seem to do it the same way I want to do it. And now I'm starting to hear about others who are facing that as well. And maybe I need to do something and I don't know what to do. There's all these options maybe, or there's no options at all. Let's keep that as an option. What are options and no options? What can we do? Well, we're going to look at David. We're going to look at David and David's desperate dilemma. David's desperate dilemma. What is the dilemma that David finds himself in as he writes this psalm? And this is the first time we know that someone's written a psalm. We know it's David, we know the author of the psalm. And the second thing, this is the first time the word psalm has been used in this. He starts off in verse 1. He says, "Oh Lord, how many are my foes? Many are rising against me." Now, in this case, it was very, very many people coming against him. A lot were coming against him. Absalom, his son, had been working the people. He'd been massaging the people at the gates as they come to get the king's ruling on something, or come to one of the wise men. He would meet them at the gate and say, "Hey, what's going on in your life?" And they'd repeat back to him and tell him what's going on. And he'd solve it for him, or he'd say, "Well, if only there was someone who really heard you and gave you some help in the kingdom. If the king, would actually give you help. If there's someone like that, if I was that, I would definitely do that. I'd definitely give you help. I'd definitely meet your needs." And so he started massaging the people around him, saying, "Hey, I'm doing this, I'll do this for you." And they go, "Oh, yeah, that feels good. I think that would be a really good thing to actually do." Not physically massaging, but mentally, and with their attitude towards the king. Verse 2 says this, "Many are saying of my soul, there is no salvation for him in God." Now you've got to admit, that's probably the lowest thing that could ever happen in your life. If someone was to say to you, there is no salvation for you in God. Can you imagine that? I can't. But we go to the New Testament, we can see that happening, and we can actually see that happening in Jesus. And he's on the cross. The leader's saying, "Yeah, Prince, if you're really the Son of God, get God to come bring me down. Get his angels to come." There's no help for you in God. Jesus fakes out on the cross. There's no help for you. The spies who wanted to enter into Canaan, and they saw the Canaanites in Numbers 13. They saw the Canaanites, and they said, "We're like grasshoppers. These men are huge compared to us." And yet, there was Caleb and Joshua. He said, "They're so big, the stuff is so much there, we could not help but actually win. We can do it with God's help. If God is for us, who can be against us?" I think the pre-writers of Romans 8. I think Paul must have got his idea from these guys. If God is for us, who can be against us? Paul says in Romans 8. Caleb and Joshua said, "Let's go into the land. Let's get this. Let's enter into the land of fruit and honey." But the others said no. The other 10 said no. There's no way that God could do it. So we see here, "So are many saying of my soul, there is no salvation for him in God." Selah. Just like that. Selah. Have you ever read that in Psalms? Have you seen that? Have you noticed that in Psalms? Especially when it's an actual hymn or a song. Selah it's a musical notation. It means to actually stop and rest. And I think it would be good for us if we took note of it as we read through the Psalms, especially this one, where we stop and rest and think about what has just been said. So let's do that. What's just been said is that David has all these enemies that are coming against him. And people are saying, you're not with God, that's why what's happening. God is not going to save you. It's not that God can't save you, but he's not with you anymore. He's not with you. There's no hope for you in God. And what must have been going through his mind as he thought of that, as he thought of what actually had happened with him as he had an affair with Bathsheba? What happened? As he disobeyed God. Maybe this is God's ruling on his life. I'm pretty sure that's what they would have said to him. In fact, if we jump into Samuel, we see that the hearts of many turned against him. 2 Samuel 15 verse 13 says this. And the messengers came to David saying, the hearts of the men of Israel have gone after Absalom. Their hearts had gone after Absalom. They were now, their hearts were for him. They were now with him. If you look on this map, I don't know if you can see it there, but Jerusalem is down here. And Hebron is where Absalom headed down, and his supporters anointed him there as king. He came back, and as he was coming back, David heard of this, and David fled. And then later on, we see Absalom fled, chases after him as well. And they separate up here. They get, Absalom is given some news. God has put someone in Absalom's kingdom as a person who's wise, and use that person to tell Absalom to do something different. Don't attack David now when he's at his weakest. And if you read in Samuel 15, he goes on and tells you much more what actually happened there. But 2 Samuel 16 says this. Now when King David came to Bahurim, there came out a man of the family of the house of Saul. Oh no, here's something else from David's past. His name was Shimei, the son of Gera. And as he came out, he cursed continually. And threw stones at David, and all the servants of the king, and all the people of the mighty men were on his right hand and on his left hand. So he's throwing stones at them, throwing dirt at them. And Shimei said, as he cursed, "Get out of here, you man of blood. You're worthless. You're a worthless man." He was a relative of Saul, and he was saying, "You killed him, and you're a murderous man, and now that you're getting judgment for what you've done in the past." And here's David's past coming on. Not only is his son chasing him, wanting to kill him, but now he's getting this heaped on him as well, and thrown on him as well. And if you read further back and further forward of here in Samuel, 2 Samuel, you'll see the whole story of Absalom and pursuit of David. In verse 13 of chapter 16 it says this: "So David and his men went on the road, while Shimei went along the hillside, opposed him and cursed him as they went, and threw stones at him and flung dust." Kept going, kept flinging stones and throwing dust. David had said, "Leave him alone. Don't touch him," to his family. They wanted to go and take his head off. But David said, "No, let him go." And maybe God will see this as me suffering and well, God will have sympathy on him. But here's this guy still reminding David of his past and what had happened there, and accusing him of something from his past. Shall we finish there? and go home? That'd be a good thing? Well, the Psalms keep going, and it's only 8 verses, and we've done 2 so far. So we've looked at David's desperate dilemma, and now we're going to look at something. We're going to look at the Lord's loyal love. The Lord's loyal love. God is loyal to those who have their heart for Him and switched on for Him. And David now stops looking at his problem, these first 2 verses, writing this psalm as this is happening to him, as his son Absalom is chasing him down. He's writing this psalm, and this is a really good thing for us and a good pattern for us to follow when things come against us. History or memories of history, what's happening now or what's happening in the future. This is a good pattern to remember the Lord's loyal love. And he goes on in verse 3, he says, "But you, O Lord, are a shield about me." That sounds reminiscent of Ephesians chapter 6, where we put on the armour of God, shield of faith. By faith, David said, "You are my shield." Not that you will be if I pick you up, not that you have me, but you are. You are my shield about me. Here we have some Roman soldiers doing the whole turtle thing where they have the shields all over them, around them. This is way after David had written this, but I think it gives us a really good image of what he means with it. All these shields around me, protecting me. Nothing can get in because that's what you are, God. You are a shield about me. My glory and the lifter of my head. When things come against me, I know that you are my shield. And you are the lifter of my head. You are the glory. Not my glory, not my kingdom, not what I've done, not what you and I have done, not what you and I drive around in, or what we achieve in life, or what we have in possession, or our family, or what. It's not where we get our glory. Our glory comes from God. And here's David saying, you are the glory. You are my glory. Your glory is me. And the lifter of my head. Isn't that such a wonderful image? Look, I can remember when our kids were sad, and I think this is a great picture. And when they're sad, their heads droop, doesn't it? Yeah. We've got a friend who's got this wonderful dog, and whenever he's looking at somebody he wants it, he sort of goes, with his head on top of it. But our children, when they were sad, we had one guy especially, his head dropped, his lip would come right out. and he could mop the floor with his bottom lip. It was so sad. And I used to like going over there and put my hand on the chin and lift them up and say, it's okay. It's all right. Let's work through this. We're lifting up their head. And it's all right. You don't need to droop your head anymore. And that's a great image, I think, that we have in God when we're feeling sad and we just go, oh no. He wants to lift up our head, raise up our head. And David is reminding us that's what God can do, that's what we should do. We should be focusing on God, focusing on His glory, and focusing on the fact that He wants to lift up our head. It's in verse 4, it says, I cried out to the Lord, and He answered me from His holy hill. See, the hill represented the power and the authority of the kingdom. And God was still on the hill. He was still in charge. You are on the holy hill. I speak to you. I look up to you. Selah. Selah. And we call this psalm a morning psalm, as in a time of day, not just sad, but a time of day. In the morning, we call it a morning psalm. And next week, chapter 4 is an evening psalm. So as he woke, this is something he probably would have prayed through and sung and encourage others to do so. Verse 5 says this, I lay down and slept. I woke up again, for the Lord sustained me. Sustained. Gave me everything I needed. Whatever I need, He did. And He gave me sleep. And I need sleep. And today we know all about sleep, don't we? We call sleep hygiene, which is where you rid your room of all distractions. You don't have anything electronic in there, so that you can actually rest and go to sleep. So your eyes aren't tricked into thinking it's still daylight. So there's no distraction, so you can actually sleep. They talk about not having your computer in there or things in there to keep you awake, but have the lights that are dim and have a certain time when you go to sleep. Sleep hygiene. The Lord sustained David. Not only did he go to sleep and sleep, but he woke up again. You might say, what's that about? Why is that so important? Well, the fact is, he's been chased, he's been pursued, and he could have been killed during the night. But here he is, he's awake again for another day. The Lord sustained me. So it gets up, morning sun. Verse 6, it goes on, it says, I will not be afraid of many thousands of people who have set themselves against me and are all around me. He says, I'm not going to be afraid because of who you are, God. Whoever they are doesn't matter. What that does doesn't matter. Because of you, God, I will not be afraid. Arise, O Lord, and save me. That word arise, according to those who study the ancient languages, they say it's a military term. In fact, when the children of Israel were going through the desert and stuff, Moses used to say, let's arise and let's go and take what we need. Take on the day. In fact, the whole of this psalm has got military terms. Enemies, foes. It's a battle. Is that a bit reminiscent again of Ephesians 6, where we are not in a fight against flesh and blood, but against the principalities of darkness? We're in battle, and we're reminded of that. And reading this psalm, it's a good psalm to read and to pray through. It's a wonderful psalm to do that. Strike my enemies on the cheek. And break the teeth of the wicked. Now when you think of that, when you break teeth, that's pretty depressing, isn't it? But what it means is that they have no bite anymore. These enemies don't have any bite in their attack on him. They're just words because of who he puts his trust in. And of course, we've been called in Matthew by Jesus. You see in Matthew, he reported Jesus saying, but I say to you, do not resist the evil one, the one who is evil, but if anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. We're not called to fight back and to fight battles. When someone does something wrong to us, we're to turn the other cheek. Okay, you've done it wrong to me, I'll turn the other cheek. I saw where a little girl was actually hit by an older girl, almost a young woman. And she could have responded in kind. And she could have shouted, she actually turned her own cheek and says, okay, here's my other cheek now. Not cheaply, but in a way that was humble, it's okay. You know what, that overcame the older person. The older girl who should have known that. It overcame her that she was willing to take it on the other cheek as well. That was pretty powerful for me to see that happen. But turning the cheek can actually have more power over somebody than actually being aggressive back. Jesus asks us to turn the other cheek rather than to fight back. Arise, O Lord, to save me. For you strike all my enemies on the cheek, and you break the teeth of the wicked. They no longer have any power over me. Leave it with you. Hand the situation over you, God. Whatever's been trying to take me on, I'm going to leave it with you. I'm just going to turn the other cheek. But you, Lord, you do what you need to do. And as I give it to you, it's like you are taking away the teeth of that that's trying to bite me and hold on to it. What wonderful imagery. We see now that salvation stands firm. And the good thing is we're into the very last verse. So if you've been asleep, now's the time to wake up. Because we're at the end. Verse 8. Salvation stands steadfast. It says in verse 8, salvation belongs to the Lord. Your blessing beyond your people. Selah. Selah. And he rests. He says, salvation is from you, God, not from me. Not from anything I can do, but from you. You lift up my head. You are my shield. You are on protection, and everything is in you. Salvation belongs to the Lord. Reminiscent again of Ephesians. Ephesians chapter 6, where it says salvation is like a helmet of salvation. The Paul's going through the armor of God. It protects us. When we give that to God and say, God, I'm saved, I know it, I don't have to worry over this, I don't have to worry about the things that are going on in my life, I can give it to you. You are my salvation. You are my salvation. Salvation stands steadfast. It's like an anchor we have. When the winds of the world blow against us, it stands steadfast. Ephesians 6:12, for we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this darkness, present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. We can know peace when we pray that prayer, when we pray through that, when we pray through Psalm 3. We can know God's peace. This morning, my challenge to you is to read that in the morning when you wake up. Try it for a week. Go through that and pray that prayer. Psalm chapter 3. And give God the day. Give God everything that's happened the day before, everything you know is going to happen in that day. And focus on Him. And just watch what He does. Watch what He does. If you can, write it down. Keep a journal of that. I'd love to hear next week what God has done for you as you give Him everything, as you pray through Psalm 3, and as you experience the peace that comes with giving it all to Him. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful psalm. We thank you that David wasn't as specific about everything that happened to him, so that we can actually use this psalm for today and pray through it. Lord, as those of old have gone through before us in this world and have used this, Lord, we too want to take up that mantle this weekend and pray through this